A little bit tricky with toe spacers on. Okay. So we're gonna first just let ourselves come down to the floor. And I want to just do a little bit of movement just to awaken and release anything that's holding in the body. So let's draw our legs up into our chest just to start. And maybe your hands are on your shins or the back of the thighs. And just take a moment to rock on the floor. So you might rock side to side. You can come towards the side of the shoulder as much or as little as you want. We're just on the floor, Gloria, and we're just rocking with our knees into our chest. Yay, we've got the same color socks on. Look at that. All right. And then we're going to allow the arms and the legs to come up in the air and shake them out a little bit. Take a few breaths in the nose, out the mouth, let out a sigh. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth, let out a sigh. One more time. Inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth, let out a sigh. Good. And now notice if your arms and your legs still want to be up in the air. If they're feeling a little fatigued, you can always bend your knees and drop your elbows to the floor. We're just going to do a few wrist and ankle circles. Good. Breathing here as you feel the rotation in one direction and the other. Just going to hear me walking through the studio for a moment and just turning down the music a tiny bit. Good. And then once you've gone both directions, just pause for a moment. And we're going to come in today and just with using our hands, we're going to do a little bit of body awareness and body release. So before we do that, we're going to check in how we want to support our bodies. So as we're here, you might have the knees bent. You might take your bolster like I am and turning it up on its side. You might have a chip foam block or a folded blanket behind your head. Good. I want you to start with just placing your hands on your abdomen, the belly. Let the elbows be quite heavy, touching the floor. So let your hands just slide on the part of your belly where you can feel your elbows and your upper arms. Just drop into the floor. That will allow the shoulders to open. Now, as you come into a little bit more stillness, you might find that the breath needs a few more rounds of exhale, maybe even pursing the lips. So you touch the lips and you blow some air out the lips. Might do that a few times. So we come into our body and we start to feel the belly try to relax a little bit and expand. And allow the belly to expand as we feel that expansion with our hands. And as we exhale, the belly deflates and we feel the belly relax. And in that softening of the belly, I want you to notice if you can allow your body to become heavier. Each time you inhale, we're moving with the power of the diaphragm. And some of you can feel that diaphragm muscle that rests right underneath the lungs. And each time we inhale, the diaphragm expands. Belly expands. And each time we exhale, the diaphragm relaxes, the belly deflates. So a good way to allow the mind to skip away from our thoughts is to come in and start to feel the body. Notice the rise and fall of the breath. The touch of the hands bring us an awareness of coming back into self. So consciousness, mind, thoughts, emotions, their tendency, their pattern is to pull outside of us. So we have to bring a little bit of effort in to draw the senses back inward. So you might notice the sound of your breath. At any time, it needs to release out the mouth, either with a sigh or a sound. Allow it. Not, you can feel the breath breathing in and out of the nose. You're feeling the rise of the belly as you inhale and the softening of the belly as you exhale. And you might also notice some sounds within the space that we're in here. We're sharing the studio. I always like to remind you that we have locked the door, so we are in a safe space. And if you're joining us at home, you've created a container for yourself. And in that shared space that we have, we might notice some sounds within the space, even outside. But keep coming back to the sound of your own breath. And take a few more rounds of breath here to arrive. We're going to very gently start to release the hands and just take one hand and bring it up onto your sternum. So the palm of the hand, I'll sit up for this so you can see me. You're going to stay lying down. You're going to take the palm of the hand just up around the sternum, just below your collarbone area. And you're going to very gently start to tap. Sometimes both hands want to come, sometimes just one. I want you to very gently tap across the chest, maybe even into the shoulders, across the sternum, going to the other side. And a breath that we're going to bring in today that we sometimes bring in is the bee breath. And the bee breath allows us to release stress. It also helps us transition into a space. So we're allowing it to help us transition into the space. So the bee breath is inhaling through the nose. You can keep tapping while you do this. The lips are touching, and then you create a little humming. You let it flow for as long as you want. Then you take another inhale again. You bring the lips gently to touch and you hum. See if your body wants to do that breath another 3 to 4 to 5 times. The tapping might dissipate, and you might even just have the hands just softly resting on the sternum, the thymus gland. Allow that breath to be here for as long as it wants. And then whenever it feels ready to pause, it will be at different timings for each of us. Just rest for a moment. Let your breath breathe you. Feel the weight of your body, the touch of the hands now coming up into this upper chest area. This act of self-compassion. When we take this moment to pause, we create a deeper sense of inner awareness, which is called interoception. So it allows us to feel what's happening in our body. And so if you have a bolster under your legs with me, you're just going to allow your legs to straighten. And the bolster might just stay underneath your knees and it just flatten down onto the floor. And that's what mine's done. It's really nice because it allows your legs to just be a little bit supported. We're going to do a little bit of tension and release just to release what is holding. If you want, you can always pull the bolster out of the way. So you're going to allow the arms and the legs to lengthen. If you don't want to reach the arms up overhead, you can reach the fingers up towards the ceiling, reach your legs down and just contract the body. So you might do a soft fist, and then you're just going to exhale. Just let the body relax. So the arms relax however they want. They don't have to relax overhead. Inhale, feel the body gently contract. And then you let it soften, let the breath out the mouth. Let go. One more time. You're going to lead yourself through this. When we lead ourselves through the action of tension and release, we embody it a little bit more. If you want to do it one more time, feel free. If not, just pause. Bolster still underneath you. You can pull it away. Good. Now we're going to go into a flow where we're going to do some pelvic tilts on the floor, but we're also going to do clean the floor. So you're going to take your mat and you're going to fold it. You're going to have to sit up to do this. You're going to fold it up, just the ends of it, and then pop your heels on the very end of your mat. So your heels are on the mat, but the toes are off the mat. And so we're using the mat as a little bit of a guide here. So you're just going to shimmy down as you fold the mat up about a foot to a foot and a half up. Okay, hands can be on your belly, arms can be by your side, palms up, palms down. We're going to do a little pelvic tilting. So you're going to feel the very base of your pelvis. So those are your sit bones at the very bottom. They're pointing towards your heels and the back of the calves. So as you exhale, you're going to reach the bottom of your pelvis, your sit bones towards your heels. You're going to press your lower back into the floor. And so that's a posterior tilt. Exhalation. As you inhale, you're going to relax that. You're going to reach your sit bones, your pelvis, the very bottom of it, towards the floor. You're going to find a very gentle arc away from the floor. So we're just going to flow into that as you exhale. Sit bones reach forward towards the heels and then maybe a little bit up as the lower back presses into the floor. When you're ready to inhale, the lower back arches gently away. The sit bones reach towards the floor. So each time you exhale, you're going to find the bottom of your pelvis reaching towards the back of the calves and a little bit up, lower back pressing into the floor. And when you inhale, you're going to feel that lower back arch away from the floor. Just go back and forth. And just feel how this movement, for some of us, we can notice the pelvis, but it's also undulating up the whole spine and it's gently tugging on the neck and the head. So what we're doing is we're creating an inward fluidity through our dural matter of a tube that hugs and flows around the spine, just gently cradling the nervous system. So you might find your head moving with the movement, the whole flow of the spine. We're just going to do that a couple more rounds, just letting this fluidity, a little bit of water element coming in to balance emotions, cooling fire or irritability. Beautiful. Now you're going to pause when you feel ready and find a place in between the back pressing into the floor and the back overly arching away from the floor, and a little bit where you feel a little bit of contact of the lower back, but also a little arc. Okay, so if your shoulders are a little bit sore and you do want to reach the arms overhead, you can take your bolster and put it behind the head like me, so that when you reach your arms, if you choose to do that, overhead, you have a little bit of support for your arms. If not, you can have just the arms up above you in a moment. But first, we're just going to have them down by the floor. So we're going to start by going in to clean the floor. So this is a release of stress from the body. So you're going to start with the left foot. So you're going to inhale. As you exhale, you're going to slide the foot off the mat forward. So you have our socks on, so we're sliding against the floor. At some point, the toes are going to come off the floor, okay? But they're still going to be pointing away from you. And I just want you to pause here. Feel the point. Notice how that tugs through the whole front of the body. And then I want you to push through the heel so the toes point up towards the ceiling. And you can feel the whole back line of your body lengthen. And we're going to go through that again. So you're going to point through the toes. Then you're going to slide the leg back until the heel comes back onto the mat. We're going to do right side now. So we're going to inhale, exhale, slide the right foot along the floor. At some point, the toes will come up, but we're going to keep the toes pointing away. So even though they're off the floor, the toes are still reaching. Take a few breaths. Then you're going to reach through the heel, toes point up towards the ceiling. You're going to feel the back line lengthening of the whole body. Take a couple breaths. Then re-point the toes again. Start to slide the right leg back until you feel your heel come onto your mat. Good, you got it. Nice. Now we're going to do left side. So we're going to inhale, exhale, slide the leg on the floor. Toes pointing. Even when they come off the floor, roll the leg in, roll the leg out. Internal, external rotation. Keep pointing through the toes. Good. Then pause. Push through the heel. Toes point up towards the ceiling. Feel the back of the body lengthen. Take a few breaths. Then you're going to point through the toes again. Start to slide the leg back. The heel just gently lift so that the foot comes back on. Just the heel comes back on the mat. We're going to do right side. Same thing. Inhale, exhale. Lengthen the right leg. Toes come off gently, but still pointing. Rolling out and in with the leg. Internal, external rotation. Right side. Sometimes the head wants to come in with it. Sometimes not. Once you've come back to center, push through the heel. The toes point up towards the ceiling. Good, you got it. Then we're going to point through the toes. Slide that right foot back. Yeah, good. Now we're going to go once again on the left side. Inhale, exhale, slide the leg forward, point the toes. Internally, externally rotate the leg. Now I want you to find a place where it feels good on that lengthening of the leg with the toes pointing, and then see, do I want to reach my arm up? Maybe it just wants to come a little bit out to the side. Maybe it wants to reach a little bit overhead. Maybe the arm just wants to stay down. We're just going to pause here. Feel your breath, keep reaching through the toes, finding where the leg wants to be. Maybe it's a little bit more internal rotation. Maybe it's center, maybe it's a little bit out. Maybe you do a little roll through the leg. Just releasing the diaphragm and our hip flexors right now. And then you're going to push through the heel, toes point up towards the ceiling. Feel that re-lengthen back out through the whole back of the body. Good, then you're going to point the toes, draw that leg back. Let that same arm come back if it was up overhead. Good, let's do right leg just to finish off this flow. Inhale, exhale, lengthen the leg, point the toes. Roll the leg in and out. Find your own breath. See if that same arm, which for most of us will be our right, wants to come up and overhead. A little bend or considerable bend of the elbow if you need. And then just find a place, maybe you pause. Sometimes my head turns towards that extended arm or away. Choose if your head wants to flow. Just let the body express for a moment. When you're ready, you're going to push through the heel, lengthen out. Toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. Good. Once you point the toes of that leg, drop back. Okay, we're going to do one last flow. We're going to link it all together now. So we're going to inhale, exhale, left leg lengthens, toes point. We're going to go right into flexing the heel. Then you're going to inhale, exhale, you're going to lengthen right leg, toes point. Go right into flexing the heel. Then we're going to bring left foot back. So you're going to point the toes of the left foot, slide the leg back. Heel comes back onto the mat. Then point the right toes, slide the foot back, coming back on the mat. We're going to do one last one, just balancing yourself out, starting with right leg. Inhale, exhale, lengthen right leg. Toes are pointing. Once you lengthen, flex through the heel, toes point up to the ceiling, heel reaches out. Then lengthen your left leg. The toes pointing. Once you extend and the toes point, flex through the heel, toes point up to the ceiling. Now you're going to bring right leg back first. So toes point, right foot, slide the right leg back. Toes point, left leg, slide that back. Beautiful. You're going to draw the legs up towards you. We can let go of the mat. We don't have to do it right now. I'm just going to extend mine back just so I have a little release. And you're going to draw the legs up towards you here. Good. Give them a hug. We're going to go right into our core float. So you're going to either take an inflated ball or a 4-inch block in between the legs. Arms are going to be down by your side, a little bit away from the body. You can have palms down, palms up, move props out so you can take up as much space as you want. Good. So we're going to inhale. As we exhale, we're going to squeeze that ball, that block, and bring our legs to one side. You choose which side you're going to go to. Draw the legs up a little bit. Then as you come into center, you're going to point your toes into center. Inhale, exhale, flex through the feet. So you're reaching through the heels, just like what we did before. Each time you come into center, you're going to point through the toes, squeeze the ball. As you come to each side, you're going to reach through the heels. So we're bringing that releasing in. Inhale, toes pointing. Exhale, flexing through the heels. See if your head wants to stay in center. Sometimes your head might turn the same direction as the legs, or it might go opposite. Good. When you bring your legs to each side, see if you can gently draw the lower belly in and pull up a little bit to see if your thighs can come close towards your belly. There you go. You got it. Aha. Yeah. Excellent. More times to each side. Then we're going to release the ball now. And so I'm going to come towards camera. So I'm using left leg first. So just notice that you've got to keep an inner lift through the belly. So the lower belly has to be drawing back towards the spine, but up, lifting up through the body. And then you're going to open left leg. So just try this. You're going to open left leg and you're going to feel yourself rolling over. Then the right leg will open. Then you're going to draw your legs together as you come into your twist. Now you're going to bring right leg up. Let the weight of the right leg pull your pelvis over. Bring left leg up. Come over into your twist. Pressing through the heel. As you come up with your leg, you're pointing through the toes. Let the weight of the left leg pull the pelvis over as the right leg follows. Good. You're going to go from side to side. One leg comes up, blowing up, over. Yeah, you got it. When you're ready, you're going to just pause, rest. You can rest at any time as well. Shake it on out. Good. Nice. Looks really good, Sally. That one for you. Yeah, that was really nice for your pelvis. Let's go into just circling the legs a little bit. We're going to do a little happy baby. So we're going to exhale, draw the legs towards us, separate the legs, circle it out and around away from you. And then as the legs come towards you, separate them, circle out and around and away from you. And just let the legs circle around, just creating a little bit of range of motion, just releasing anything in the hips. And then we're going to go the opposite direction. So as the legs move away from you, you're going to pause, circle out and around back towards you. The legs move away, circle out around. Yeah. Question? Yeah. I know. So there's a little comment. We just lit up in the studio. I don't know if you noticed, Gloria, we got a little bit lighter in here. Yeah, it is really nice, right? It's been an interesting day. And there it goes. Yeah. Shake it on out again. And then we're going to bring the legs as you shake up into the air, and we're going to go into baby pose. So you're going to widen the legs. Some of you are just going to grab the back of the thighs. Hold it, wiper. Some of you are going to grab your ankles, and some of you can grab your feet. Yeah, there it is. Aha, just let the breath go. This is a really good time. We're going to bring in the sound of the heart, that ah. Inhale through the nose, little sound of the heart. Ah. Inhale, exhale, little sound of the heart. Ah. You got it. Now we're going to play just a little bit. So you're going to bring your right heel towards your buttocks. Lengthen through the left leg. And then bring your left heel towards the buttocks. Lengthen through the right leg. And switch. Right heel towards the buttocks. Lengthen through left. Yeah, you got it. And then switch. And lengthen. Let's make it your own. Have a little bit of fun. We're just playing. A little visceral feeling here of when we were children, babies, and we used to lie on our back and play like this. So it's an innate movement that is within all of us. And you just take your time to be here. You might even just pause with the legs down, the legs up. You just take a moment. We're going to release the legs down. Just feel yourself here. Just taking a little pause. Let the breath breathe you again. And we're gonna roll in a couple breaths onto our abdomen, and we're gonna go into strengthening the back, opening the chest again. So as you roll onto your belly, you can switch around if you want. If you want to turn so that you're facing into the studio. Now, for those of us that have glasses, if you do want to, you can release them. Bring the hands on top of one another, forearms at the top of your mat. Let your forehead rest on the back of your hands. This is a release for the back of the neck. Some of you might notice that the body wants to wiggle a little bit on the floor. This is optional. When we wiggle as we're on the floor, it helps us release any blocked energy. It might be in the form of experience or emotion or holding muscularly within the body. Helps to reset our nervous system for some of us. When you're ready, we're going to allow the arms to release down by our side. Arms are really close to the body, not too close, but you might find I find that I like to just tuck my index and my thumb underneath the top, underneath the thighs, but you might just be beside it. Chin is on the floor or the forehead. And we're going to do the root to rise. We're going to exhale. So we're pressing our lower belly, the pubic bone that is below that the button, this upper belly, this gently lifting up off the floor. The head's just going along for the ride. The gaze is down. And some of you, as you keep pressing here and breathing, you might even feel, oh, I notice my knees and my shins coming off the floor a little bit. Keep reaching energy out the crown of your head. We're just breathing and holding. Slowly descend. So try not to just drop out of it, but use your core to slowly descend down to the floor. We're going to do that again. So whenever you're ready, you're going to press the belly, the abdomen, the hip bones, the top of the thighs into the floor. Let the body lift gently up, gazes down. Nice. Breathe here. You lower down when you're ready. One last time, pressing the pelvis into the floor. Allowing the body to gently rise up from that leaning. It is a root to rise, so I love to play with one of the laws of movement. And as you come down, you're going to release. You're going to bring your forearms back up underneath the skull. You're going to lift your shins and your feet up, and you're going to let your legs wiper a little bit from side to side. We're going to let that movement dissipate and find ease whenever we're ready with our legs, the shins, the feet coming back down to the floor. And then we're going to go back into what we did last week, which was seal and sphinx for some of us. So your arms are going to come forward. You're going to have a little bit of a bend of the elbow. And so the palm of the hands are pressing into the floor. So you're going to do the same root to rise as you root the lower belly, the pubic bone, the belly button, the upper belly, and then you're going to start to press the hands into the floor as the forearms come off the floor. Yeah, there you go. Check in. Yeah, good. Really feeling that pressing the floor away. And then we're going to come down and let's bring the hands a little bit closer. Notice, are they wide enough for our shoulders? Sometimes we go a little bit narrow. You give yourself a little bit more space, you might find it a little bit more comfortable as you press down through the belly, the pubic bone, then the hands coming up. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, this is your pose. I feel, Sally, you should be exploring this one. When you do this one, it just brings you back to yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so from here, you can pause, you can stay here. Some of you might even want to linger here. So you can drop your elbows down and then press the elbows into the floor. And just feel this place of widening through the collarbone. Keep pressing the pubic bone into the floor. Reach and widen the sit bones at the base of your pelvis. And you got it. And you might even find that you bring your arms a little bit more forward and a little bit closer together. Just a tiny bit. There we go. How does that feel? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, right. You can feel now that the elbow is stacked a little bit more for you underneath your width of your shoulders, right? And then you can just feel, I have really broad shoulders, so I create a little bit of space, more space in mine. You can feel now, quite nice, right? Yeah, you found that sweet spot right here, right? Yeah, and your body can sing. You come down when you're ready. Okay, go back into swinging the legs. Good. Whenever we do heart opening as we are right now, it increases the vitality, the joy that emanates through our body and our hearts and our mind. It's a really nice one to bring in. We're going to bring the hands when you're ready as the legs come down underneath the shoulders, even a little bit lower. Do a little half push up. You're going to come back, widen the knees a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of circling here. So we're just going to circle the pelvis back, forward. Coming towards the hands and then widening the knees as you come back, just bringing a little bit of fluidity in. Go both directions. And we're going to flow right into our spinal waves through the cat-cow. Some of you know it as. So once you come to a place, have your hands under your shoulders, knees under the hips, always noticing if the wrists are not feeling like they want to be on top of anymore. You come down to your elbows underneath your shoulders. You'll start with the exhalation. So the sit bones, we're doing now pelvic tilts on hands and knees. So you're just letting the sit bones reach down, the spine rounds up towards the ceiling, the head lets go. Yeah, and then the sit bones start to reach up. The belly arches towards the floor, the chest opens, the shoulders draw down away from the ears. Try not to lift your head too high. And just flowing back and forth, starting at the pelvis, letting the ripple effect of the wave move all the way up through the spine. Each time you come in, you start at the pelvis. So take your time. The neck and the head is the last to receive. Just feel this wave flowing through your body. Just bringing in a little bit more element of water today. So sometimes when we feel a little bit more emotional, bringing in water and fluidity helps us balance. Feeling that cooling property here. If and when you want to push up into downward dog, you might widen the hands, bring the hands a little bit farther forward from underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, inhale, exhale, up and back. If you want to go up into a dolphin with the forearms on the floor, feel free. Okay, you can walk it out here. You always want to start with the knees bending, pushing the floor away with the hands, just like what we did in seal, and then you're walking through the heels, extending the legs. And we're going to transition up to standing now. So we're going to walk feet towards hands, hands back towards feet. Bend the knees generously once you get here. Feel that you just take a moment, ask your blood pressure if it does want to just hang in a forward fold, you can lengthen, but if not, you might just bring the forearms on the thighs for a moment just to equalize, especially if you feel any lightheadedness. And then rooting down to rise up. Some of you will reach the arms up, some of you won't. Beautiful. We'll take our time just to do a few swinging twists, just adjusting my camera so you can see my whole body there going. Feet wide, your comfortable distance, just swinging now. Feel your breath. Just offer a little bit of tapping if you choose to the body. Let me slow that down. We're gonna find our ball now. Some of us have a ball, some of us have a dowel. You're gonna grab that. Been coming out of my regular pattern of the dowel and using the ball now, but you can use whatever you want. I'm just kind of switching back and forth. I never go into the ball as much. Yay! Mom, you're bathed in sunshine. Look at that. I know. Okay, so taking one foot as your standing foot, take a breath in, let it out. Maybe it's out the mouth. Ah, bending both knees as you feel the foot press into the floor. And I want to bring in that cross connection. So I've been bringing it in through classes. So you're going to feel your big toe. So this is the mound of the big toe right here in this metatarsal knuckle. So big toe mound. You're going to feel this connection as you press through the big toe mound, cross over and press into your outer heel. And then take your pinky toe, the mound of the pinky, cross over and press into your inner heel. Try to keep those 2 points of crossing connected as you press the floor away. So exactly what we did when we went into the lifting up in the core work, as we press the floor away, this leg will start to become lighter. And then you take a moment, check in. How's your balance? Find somewhere to focus. Use your arms. And then we're going to roll that foot down onto our ball, down. Shoulder feeling a little bit better? Tiny bit, right? It's still there, yeah. It feels like it's a anatomical, structural, maybe a tiny bit of fascia, but yeah, it's definitely something's pulling. Yeah. So you can roll from heel to toes. And then feel as you go through, maybe you want to spend a little bit of time on the outer foot, pinky side of the foot. You can go across the inner arch, and that will be your medial one. And you can stand, those of you that have the dowel, you can stand on the dowel. If you've got the ball, you can go from the pinky toe mound all the way across with the ball to the big toe. That's your transverse arch. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, nice. That's a little bit different, right? To the transverse arch feels different. Yeah. I like it because I can feel each metatarsal opening as I do that, right? And I can notice when you do it with the ball where there's a little bit of holding. You can even try to wrap the toes around the ball. Just does that flexion of the feet to strengthen your inner arches. Whenever you do this grasping motion of the foot, yeah, good. Go into the heel a little bit as well. Whenever we go into the heel, stresses the bones, specifically going up into the hip. And as we stress the bone, as we do in all of the standing poses too, it helps the bones signal the osteoblasts to create a little bit more bone density. There's something in the outer foot there for you. Yeah, I could hear it. I was like there's something going on in there. And you'll know when you're done, we'll all be like different rhythms, right, of foot rolling. So just take your time to pause and feel both feet. Notice the difference, breathe. Then you're going to press the other foot into the floor. So find that big toe, outer heel, pinky toe, inner heel. Take a moment to find it. And then as you find it, you're keeping the hips nice and level. And as you're pressing down, this leg is starting to get a little bit lighter, and you can start to lift up through the belly. So it's lifting up the lower abdominals. That's what will rise the leg up. So you find whatever height it wants to come. And if you move it around, it will help you just to feel, oh, what does my balance feel like if I was, kind of tipping or falling? Can I catch myself? It happens so fast when we kind of trip up sometimes. And I find that it's an autonomic reaction that happens, right? Body, as we kind of practice this tool, right? Then in the time when, if you do kind of trip up or you're about to, you lose your balance, your body goes, I gotcha, right? I know what to do, right? Which is really comforting. And it just kind of does it. And you're like, yes, all that training on one foot. Okay, so go from heel to toes first. And then as you explore the foot, breathe. Sometimes the breath will be out the mouth, sometimes it will be out the nose. I just find a little spot underneath my metatarsals that I'm just pausing in that just wants me to hang there. So anytime you find a spot that your body might just say, just don't move for a moment. It goes into what we call a compression technique. And the compression technique slowly opens you up, right? It signals different receptors in your muscles and the fascia to slowly let go. Kind of fun. You can feel as I held that spot, it just slowly opened and did an unwinding process, which was good. You can take a little bit longer here. Go into your heels if you need to. And finishing off whatever else is calling you in your foot. And then we'll move the ball or the dowel just off to the side, just so that we don't have it there. Okay, good. So we're going to do a little warrior flow now. So we're going to come up towards the short end of our mat. We're going to keep the feet hip width apart. Right foot is going to stay forward. Left foot is going to step up. So I want you to bring it up, press down through that right foot, and then you're going to lean forward. You're going to try to step back through that left foot. Okay, widen that front foot out towards the edge of the mat a little bit. So you just feel a little bit more space. Your back foot, the toes should be facing a little bit more forward. Yeah, there you go. Good. Feel that the hips are shining straight ahead. So you want to check, okay, my hip bones. So if you're a little bit angled, just swing them around and then bend the front knee. We're going to open the chest. So we're going to take the hands, we're going to interlace them. So I'll just show you what that looks like. If this does not feel good, then you're just going to grab one hand, will grab one wrist, and you'll just gently tug down. Feel the chest open. Just opening. So sometimes if this upper part of the chest is holding, then the regulation of the nervous system is a little bit inhibited. You might feel that we're in a little bit more of a reaction. Good. See if you can bend your front knee. There it is. A little bit more. There it is. Nice lunge. Okay. And then you're going to pause. You're going to release the hands. You're just going to bring your hands onto your hip. And you're just going to start to fold forward. Keep nice and long. And just pause here. Pressing into right foot, left foot. Just feel nice and long. And then you're going to feel yourself press off your back foot. And you're just going to come up on the heels to start. Reaffirm big toe, outer heel, pinky toe, inner heel. And then if you want, maybe the arms come out to the side. Maybe they come forward. Maybe that back leg comes off the floor. But the toes, if they do, are pointing towards the floor and you're pressing through your heel. Yeah, and you don't even have to come off. I know it's one of those balancing poses where you're just eventually going. And then you're going to step and bring left foot to right. There you go. Good job. Yeah. I know that's warrior 3, right? So just do a little bit of hip movement. Okay, it can be a circle, it can be a figure 8, you choose. Let a breath out the mouth. Okay, then we're going to do other side. Left foot forward, right leg back. Walk the left foot out if you need to. Square the hips forward. Okay, there you go. Remember that back foot, if you're feeling a little bit too far extended, just step it in a little bit because your stance is a little bit shorter in this one. It's only about 3.5. Good. Front knee is bent. There you go. Good. Now you're going to interlace your fingers. If you interlace them one way, you're going to switch your interlace. If you held a wrist, you're going to pull through the other wrist. Open the chest. Keep the front knee bent. There you go. Keep anchoring the bottom of the pelvis. Those are your sit bones down as your heart expresses. Couple more rounds of breath. Okay, so you can bring your hands back to the hips. You can also hold your hands where they are and just start to fold forward. This is a little bit of a cooling posture, just bringing in a little bit of strength through our legs. Okay, then you're going to release the arms. They're either going to be out to the side, back, forward. Some of you might keep them on the hips. And you're going to start to reaffirm that left foot, big toe, outer heel, pinky toe, inner heel. The heel is going to come off of the right foot, but the toes do not need to come off the floor. Some of you will be able to lift the leg. Trust your standing leg. Good. When you're ready, stepping right foot to left. Nice. Yeah. 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 You're like, woo, if there was like a mat, we could just do some interesting rolling, right? So let's just circle that out again. Okay. We're going to go into one of the ones that we do quite often in here, which is Goddess, to just bring in a little bit more hip opening. So we're going to widen the feet. Two things my body's saying to me. Before you go into that, just take a foam block. You should have at least one of them and just put it in between your feet. So if you want, you can be higher or lower. Yeah, there we go. So your feet are anywhere from 3 to 4 feet apart. Good. Yeah. You're going to angle the toes out. We'll just come down into our squat first. So just find a comfortable squat. Feel like you're really sitting down here. Yeah, bring the arms up. Go into cactus arms. Feel your right foot and feel your left foot. So just a little bit of pressing off. And you might just find as you press off your left foot, you go to your right foot, your left leg lengthens a little bit. And then you press off your right foot. You feel the right leg lengthen. And just go from side to side. See if you can stay balanced. Good. Just using our legs a little bit here, balancing out the leg muscles, then find center. Okay, we're going to go into 5-pointed stars. So we're going to inhale, we're going to open the chest, extend the legs, extend the arms, maybe the gaze looks up. And then come back down into Goddess. Then press through the feet, extend, open up, don't lose your foundation. And back down. Couple more, open up. And back down. And let's do that one more time. And back down. You're going to release the arms all the way down. Angle as you straighten the legs, the heels out a little bit so you feel that you're open, flat. Yeah, outer edge of the feet are angled parallel to the bottom and short end of your mat. Now you're going to bend the knees, fold forward. Good, you're going to put your hand down, maybe on the block. And I want you to find a flat back. So I want you to reach your pelvis back. Exhale, gather the front of your rib cage a little bit. Reach energy out the crown, front of your head forward. Relax your shoulders down away from the ears. Okay, we're going to do a move to open and release some tension in between the shoulder blades. So you're going to keep right hand on the block. Left arm is just going to dangle off the block so the palm is facing the block. Now you're going to inhale. As you exhale, you're starting from the pelvis. You're going to turn your pelvis to the left. You're going to open your spine up. And then you're going to choose, does my left arm want to reach up? If it doesn't, you're going to put your left hand on your lower back, your pelvis. Breathe here. Then that left arm is going to come down. You might touch the block, release the right arm, palm faces the block. Start with the pelvis, twisting towards the right. Let the torso follow. Maybe the arm comes up, maybe it rests on your lower back. Maybe it's on the back of your hips. Good. You flow now from side to side. Inhale. Some of you might find, I'm not too sure if I need the block or I want to go down a little bit lower, or you might feel you're able just to touch the floor. Other option here is to not use the block and maybe your right hand goes to your left leg. You want to keep the weight in your toes because tendency is going to be to shift all the way back onto the heels. So keep the toes engaging. There you go. Yeah. Nice. Once you're done, whenever that is, you can pause. So some of you might use the block again. You might rest the forearms on it. You might come down a little bit more. You might even feel the knees have to bend. Good, you've got it. You can take a little pause here. One more breath. And you're going to start to generously bend your knees. You're going to remove the hands off the block. Now we're going to do a little transition here. So you're going to choose, and if you're not on your mat, it might be a little bit tricky. But we are going to just heel toe our feet a little bit closer together, not too much. Then take one foot. So I'm going to choose my right foot as being at the top of the mat. I'm going to turn my right foot. And as I do that, I'm going to walk my hands over. And then I'm going to pivot up onto the back of my left. And you're going to try to step your foot back into downward dog. A little transition. There you go. Good job. You got it. Yeah, you got it, Mom. Yeah. And then you might want to choose, that feels enough. I want to stay in downward dog. I want to walk it out. Some of you might want to be a little bit more dynamic and lift one leg. Some of you might want to go down to child's pose right away. You choose. We're just going to do a little lateral stretch. So you join us in child's pose. There's no rush here of the arms coming to one side. If you don't like child's pose with your knees, you're going to do a lateral stretch seated. Yeah, good, Tracy. So I've shown you quite a few hand gestures, arm adjustments in child's pose, but one that we don't normally go into, and some of this is going to feel comfortable for you, some of it might not. So after you've gone to each side, you might just keep the arms forward. If you have any shoulder concerns, you might drop them down beside you. The other option here, remember you can come off your knees at any time, is to slide your arms in between the legs. Yeah, and then you just turn your head to the side. It doesn't work really great with glasses. Okay, so this is also an option. If you want to be seated, just be seated. That's where we're going next. But if you want to try child's pose, the hips are a little bit higher in the air. So you might not even need that block, but maybe you might. Yeah, let's see how it comes. Yeah, I don't think you need it, right? It's a little bit different, right? So some of you are going to go, this pose really talks to me. And some of you are going to go, I just don't really care for this one, right? And so it's kind of one of those ones where you hit and miss. But if you don't feel like you want to rest there, then just come sit with me for a moment. We're just going to do a little hip release. Those of you that are in that child's pose variation, just turn your head to the other side. If you want to join me in a seated position, you're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Okay, and you did, some of you grabbed a couple more blocks. So always noticing if being in this position doesn't work, you can support the legs a little bit more. And we're going to do a little breath here, so no rush coming up. I've got the wall behind me, so you can scoot right to a wall if you want. You can be in the center, you can be towards the wall. It's up to you. I am not actually, but you can if you want. Yeah, you can scoot all the way back to the wall though. It's right behind you. Yeah, you just take your time to find that, right? No rush though. So you can have the feet a little bit closer, but I do want you to support the legs a little bit. Take my glasses off for this because it's a little bit easier for me to demonstrate it. We're going to do a little Nadi Shodhana. So this helps us balance heat and cold, the mind, parasympathetic and sympathetic. So when we feel fight or flight, when we feel calm. So it brings in a little bit of balance between kind of a little bit more fiery and water. And so hand gesture, you can take, easiest hand gesture of this one is to take your index, middle, ring finger, curl them down. Then you just have your thumb and your pinky. The thumb controls your right nostril and the pinky controls your left. Okay, so that's your easiest one. The other one that you might want to go into is you take your index and your middle finger and you curl it down into the palm of the hand, or you take your index and your middle and you put it in between your eyebrows on what we call our third eye center. And you can just really let your arm relax onto the torso. Your ring and your pinky, or just your pinky, are in control of left and your thumb is in control of the right. So you're just pausing here for a moment. We always start with a regular breath to start. Okay, so just let your eyes soften. Just listen to my cues as you fold. If at any time this doesn't feel good, you pause, you come out. The next thing we're going to is lying down, so you can go there at any time. Okay, so when you exhale out both nostrils, you're then going to close your right nostril very gently. Inhale through left nostril. Good. Close your left. Release right. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close the right nostril. Release your left. Exhale. Inhale. Close left. Release right. Exhale. Then inhale. Close it off. Release the left. Exhale. Inhale. You're going to keep it this rhythm, releasing the nostril. Exhale. Inhale. Close it off. Release the other one. I want you to see if you can smooth the breath out. So just notice if there's a little bit of gasping for the breath. Can you smooth it out? Less effort. Softer flow. Don't worry about the depth so much as find the ease of your breath. Whenever you're done, so we're all going to complete at different times. When you close the right nostril and you release your left, you're going to exhale through left. Release your hands and just breathe out of both nostrils and take a moment. And stay with the breath for as long as you want. Just creating a balance today in the body and mind. Using a little bit more of water to cool and nourish and revitalize us. When this sitting pranayama feels complete, you're just going to allow the eyes to open very gently, extend the legs, shake them out. And move the blocks off to the side. Roll down. Feel your body come to the floor and just notice yourself touching the floor again. See if you need a layer or anything before we start to release. So we're going to go into a little releasing of a twist. And so a couple things here. You're going to have the feet the width of the mat. Your arms are going to be out to the side. I'm just going to move off my mat a little bit just to give myself a little bit more space. So the feet are a little bit wider than normal, a little bit more of an internal rotation. And let your arms take up as much space as they need with the palms up. So move whatever's in your way that inhibits you from expressing yourself. Take a breath out your mouth. That felt good. Do it again. Let the breath breathe you. So if that means another breath out the mouth, you let it flow as long as you need to. Some of you might feel the eyes wanting to close or stay softly open. Okay, we're going to do a little release of the front of the legs and the pelvis. Remember, if this version of a twist doesn't feel good, you can go into something else. So you're going to use the pelvis. You're going to start to lift the right hip up off the floor. The legs are going to gently release to the left. Your head, for some of you, might turn to the left. Now you're going to exhale, lift up through the pubic bone, let the lower belly draw in. Widen the sit bones, let the sit bones, the bottom of your hips, reach towards your heels. Pause here, relax the shoulders. Feel that little bit of engagement always there, but relax around that integrity of engagement. So the engagement is lifting the lower abdominals in and up, softening the shoulders, breathing here. To come back to center, you're going to let your pelvis guide you. So you're going to start to allow the pelvis to come back, pull towards the floor, roll across the floor, and the legs will find center again. So align them, bring your head back if it moved, and then you're going to exhale. You're going to lift up the left side of your hips from the floor. The legs will start to go to the right. The head may follow if it wants. Feel the lower belly draw in and lift up. So lower abdominals lifting. Let the sit bones wide. And then some of you, to add on, you might even feel your big toe and your inner heel on your left foot. Gently press into the floor. Pause, let go, unwind. When you're ready to release, you just release the pressing of that left foot. The pelvis will guide you back to center. And then you're just going to flow from side to side. And use the right side of the hip to lift up. Legs are going to go to the left. Lower belly draws in and up to find that lower abdominal core of the transverse. If you like the pressing of the foot, it's your right big toe, the right inner heel that leans a little bit into the floor. And you just let that leaning, that integrity be there, and you soften around it. I'm going to let you be the gauge of your timing. Whenever you're ready to come out, you come out. You let the pelvis guide you back. You finish off on the other side. And you ask yourself how you want to rest in your final pose of resting, which might be legs up the wall. It might be bringing a bolster underneath the leg. Hey, if you're going to go legs up the wall, you're going to find yourself really close to the wall. If you have a couch at home, you can do that. You're going to sit very close with one hip close to the wall. Lean back, then pivot the torso and allow the head and the torso to come down onto the floor. Here you can play with the legs feeling extended up towards the ceiling. There's also, you can bring the soles of the feet together here and be in butterfly. You can also open up into what we call a wide angle on the floor. This is Uttanasana Konasana. God, just take a moment to be here. Allow yourself to arrive and connect to you as you are right now. Feeling body, feeling body. Noticing breath, noticing breath. Letting the mind float along the wave of the breath. We explore this mind-body-breath connection in this class. Allowing ourselves to be held by Mother Earth. Feeling with the guidance and the softness of each exhale. Into the support of the earth. Allow yourself to be held. The piece I'm going to share with you today is from Dorothy Hunt. Peace in this moment without judgment. Peace in this moment without judgment. That is all. This moment in heart space. This moment in heart space where everything is welcome. Peace is this moment without thinking that it should be another way. Peace is this moment without thinking that it should be some other way, that you should feel some other thing, that your life should unfold according to your plan. Peace is this moment without judgment, the moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. In this moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. Be for a couple minutes here, enjoying some silence together. Hear the sound of my voice. Look back into your consciousness. Just take a moment to tune into your body. Feel it resting in that held quality on the floor. Let your breath slowly breathe you back into awareness. And you'll feel, when you're ready, a little wiggle of the fingers and the toes. And let the arms and the legs have some expression. And some of you have your legs up the wall. You'll take your time. You might bend your knees, press your feet into the wall. You might even shimmy yourself away a little bit, or just roll to the side. Once you're on your side body, just take a moment just to be there if it resonates with you before finding your way up to a seated. So take some time to transition. And you can sit however you want. Might be cross-legged, it might be straight-legged. You might come into that hip opening that we did. I'm gonna reach our arms up, widen them out to the side. Yeah, and give ourselves a hug. Thank ourselves for being here, offering this act of compassion, and you absorb it however you want. And as we feel the arms open, inhale, and then cross the arms over the other way, and let's share a hug as a group. Feel all of us gently sharing a hug and noticing as we come together in community that one of the qualities of regulating the nervous system is in community, in co-regulation. So each of us are helping each other feel more aligned, which is so wonderful as we open up. Mm. Feel your breath, feel your body. Oh. Take your time to transition. I'm gonna go and turn off the recording.